Good afternoon, Peace Collective. I am so happy to be here with you on Saturday afternoon for Cherishedflight Live. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking some time out of your Saturday to be here with me. And I am just elated that I have Miesha Rice here with me from Whole Family Healing Group. Hey, Miesha.
Hi. How are you?
Good, doing well. Thank you.
Congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being my very first guest for Cherishedflight Live. I wanted to kind of give everybody a little background about what this is and why I'm doing it. So I'm a published writer, podcaster, have over 120 podcasts called Cherishedflight the Podcast, and a book, Inhale Peace, a 31-day journey to realign with God's peace. And I started something called a peace break. And the peace break is when you kind of move away from the hustle and bustle of the world, of work, of whatever you're doing, and you make time to breathe and pray to realign with the peace of God. And so when this whole COVID pandemic began, God told me, you need to take these peace breaks to another level and do them live on Instagram and Facebook. So in March, I started doing that. And I think it was March, the third Monday in March, I started doing it. I've been doing it every single day with the exception of Blackout Tuesday. I've been doing it every day at 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. And God said, let's take this to the next level, which is now Cherishedflight Live. And the whole purpose of Cherishedflight Live is to help all of us to learn how to maintain the peace of God in everyday life. It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually do it. And so I have 6 different extraordinary women. I have one extraordinary couple coming on, but extraordinary guests that will be coming on talking about how they maintain the peace of God every day in whatever they're doing. And so every week has a focus, and this week's focus is peace of mind. Yeah. And so I said, okay, God, who do you want me to bring on for peace of mind? And your face was the first face that came. So I was like, okay, I hope she'll do it. I hope she'll do it. And you said yes immediately. Thank you.
Of course I'll do it. Of course.
Awesome. So I want us to kind of dive into this thing. And first of all, before we even get started, tell the Peace Collective a little bit about yourself and where the Whole Family Healing Group came from.
All right. Well, I am from Baltimore, Maryland, and I am a proud, actually, undergraduate of Bennett College, and I got my grad studies at the University of Maryland School of Social Work. While there, I trained in doing clinical mental health. I've worked with Baltimore City Public Schools. I've done work at the House of Ruth. I've worked in substance use. I've worked with veterans. I've done a lot of different things. And actually, Whole Family Healing Group came about as I started a journey in doing private practice work and working with couples and families, individuals and children. So I just decided to branch out on my own. And I actually did the work, at least probably start working on Whole Family Healing Group a year before even opening the doors. Mm-hmm. So, and I wanted it to be a place where I can teach families how to stay together and learn how to work things out, communicate better. So that's the idea.
But not only that, that's important, especially now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really important. I have a quick question. So you're doing this full time? Question mark.
Almost. One day. Yeah, question mark.
Okay. And so during this whole time before we even get to anything that's happened over the past 10 days, we need to backtrack and discuss COVID and everything that came along with that. So during that time, and we're just gradually coming out of it now, everybody, including myself, we were dealing with so much anxiety because it's unknown. This
Yeah.
virus that we can't see,
Yeah.
people are dying, and then we
Yeah.
find out people in communities of color are dying at even higher rates.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's going on, when it's going to be over, how long we're going to be detained.
Right.
How did that impact, first of all, how did that impact you individually, and then as a therapist helping your clients?
Well, I individually, it impacted me because I could no longer go and visit with family and friends. My mom's sister, I have an auntie that, you know, I care for deeply. She is the love of my life. I love my auntie. And you know, her visitation was cut off. She lives in a senior building, so I wasn't able to, you know, spend as much time with her as I normally do. I'm over there all the time. We'll sit, laugh, you know, eat, and I'll go to the store for her. So that impacted me because she's a huge support, part of my support system.
Mm-hmm.
And professionally, I had to shut the office down. I didn't want to compromise the space, don't want to compromise anyone's, you know, immune system health. So I had to become a 100% telehealth business, and, you know, and still provide the healing services, you know, virtually.
So so I do see a therapist every 2 weeks, and we've been doing teletherapy.
Yeah.
It is a huge difference from being in the office. But did you find that you lost connection with your clients, or patients, or were they able to kind of make that transition?
I'm not going to say that it was not challenging. It was challenging because I'm really interactive with my clients, and I believe that I do a really great job in building a therapeutic relationship. Mm-hmm. So it was, you know, pretty challenging, but for me, I really had to know that I'm providing the same service whether they're sitting in front of me or not. I need to still give them the same work, the same assignments, the same, you know, be patient and allow them to express and process and even talk about the difficulty with doing everything virtually. Because I mean, everything is virtual now, you know, school everything. And I mean, family parties, gender reveals, like everything is virtual. So, you know, I just had to take it one session at a time.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been talking about with during my peace breaks, so doing them every day, is holding space for yourself and being a therapist and getting all of that information coming into you from everyone else. How do you maintain your balance? How do you maintain those things?
I am really intentional with, you know, setting boundaries and just setting boundaries for myself. That's one of the greatest lessons that I learned, not just in school, but one of my professors, Orrin Howard, he is my mentor in social work, and he is someone that I call on when I feel like, you know, I think I might be getting ready to lose it here. Like, I mean, I go through things as a social worker, things have happened to my clients, and, you know, things that are out of my control. But I'm also in tune with myself spiritually. I know exactly who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am. I know I'm not perfect. And I know that sometimes I need to chill. Like, I know when I'm doing too much, and I know I need to cut my schedule off and only see 1 or 2 people, or I just need to block off my schedule for a week or 2 weeks, or I might need to just sit on the couch and veg out. I might need to, you know, eat a piece of chocolate. Like, I just know that I need to be good to me so that I can still be present and be there for other people. There's no perfect thing, you know, one thing that works more than the other, but I also try to make sure that I feed my brain like positive things. Every day when I get up, my intention is to make sure that I'm making the best out of this day. You know, I listen to positive things. I may have praise and worship Monday through Friday in the morning. You know, or I'm listening to affirmations. If I'm not able to sit and meditate and clear my mind, sometimes I just have to listen to it and force feed it, you know, but I just have to do things on purpose to really, you know, reground myself. And I do have people that I call on spiritually, spiritual counselors and, I'll do my own sessions. I'll call and make appointments. Like I know when it's time for me to take a break, my peace break. And that peace break is amazing. You don't even know. That breathing is amazing.
Yeah. Because I know that when we're in heightened situations and stressed out, the one thing we stop doing is deep breathing.
Yep.
And it helps to regulate.
Talking about that today.
You are?
I was just talking about that today.
Regulate your heart rate, your blood pressure, and it helps you to refocus. Just the breathing.
Yep.
But there's something that when you were just saying that's important, and that's for people to understand that folks who are encouragers or people who are therapists or people who are taking on everybody else's information still need their moment to hold their own space.
Totally. You have to do it. You have to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah. If you don't, you'll self-destruct.
Oh, you will. And that's not healthy. And then you don't want to cause any type of psychological damage to any of your clients. Like you do not. That's probably one of the worst things you can do. So you really have to be in tune with yourself spiritually. So for me, it's mind, body, spirit. I had to make sure that I'm eating well. I need to take walks. I need to listen to music. I need to turn the TV off. I need to be on the phone with my cousin for 2 hours, just laughing, talking about all kind of stuff, or talking to my auntie, checking on her, or, just doing all kind of things, talking to my loved ones. I have to do things and be really serious about regrounding myself. It's very important.
Yeah. So last night I was on a telecall with my church, and someone mentioned that she had been going from store to store and could not find sympathy cards anywhere.
Oh, wow.
And it really made us stop, pause, reflect, and pray, but also think about how people are grieving during this season. Multiple layers of grief. Loved ones dying left and right. But not only that, not being able to go to the hospital to be with them when they've last birth, not being able to even memorialize them or celebrate their lives in person at a funeral. I know a couple of weeks ago, my husband and I attended his uncle's funeral online.
Oh, wow.
And so people are hurting.
Yeah.
What kinds of things can we share with them at this moment? Not thinking about what happened over the past 10 days, but just their family members who've passed on. What can we share with them to help them get through this time?
This is a very difficult time. I don't know if there are a lot of words that can comfort them at this time, but what I would say is that this is pushing us to culturally grieve in a different way. Historically, it was the gatherings, the funerals, and the getting together and eating afterwards. Those are our cultural norms, and they are not able to take place right now. So what I would say, my suggestion is that for people to find a way to have their own kind of closure. I don't know if you need to, build your own memorial at home. Can you, log some memories, jot down some things that you really loved about the person? Is there a favorite meal that they had? Is there a place that they wanted to visit? Is there a favorite song? Like, these are all the things that I do when I want to feel closer to my mom, who I miss, and I still adore her to this day, even though she's been gone almost 10 years, I believe. But, these are things that I do. Like, I may put on her scarf, or, I have a bracelet that I got made with both of our colors on it. So sometimes you need something tangible to feel close to them. And when you're not able to do that, you may have to find some other means, like the memories, and just trying to think of some good things. But by no means is this easy.
Yeah.
But it's not.
That's good. You said create your own sense
Yeah.
of closure.
You have to, because that's what's missing. The norm of closure for our, especially for our culture, and for many other cultures, has been get together. We're going to spend days, or you're going over to people's homes and helping them prepare for the services, and everybody is getting together, and you're not just that, but you're hugging, you're kissing everyone on the cheek. So this pandemic has really caused a ripple effect of change. Like that is, you just can't do it right now.
Yeah. And even with that physical contact, which you just mentioned, the physical contact of, you're not there physically in the same room, but even when you do see people, you can't hug them, you cannot embrace them
at all. Sometimes that's the first thing we do when we see each other, is you want to go and give a hug, and I find myself now like, oh man, I can't even hug you. Maybe in September, I don't know.
Yeah, that's and I know, and this is kind of switching gears, but I know with infants have to be touched in order to survive and thrive. And how are we maintaining when we can't even physically touch our loved ones? So I can't show you my support through my hugs. That's
we have to practice eye contact, and we may have to write letters, we may have to talk more on the phone. Like the texting thing is it may not serve the same purpose as it did before. So maybe we'll get used to hearing each other's voices and seeing each other's faces. I know me and my girls, we've gotten now started doing Zoom calls, and it's like, man, why weren't we doing this before? Like this, I don't even understand why we wait all this time to do this. I haven't seen you in 5 years. Like, why haven't we done Zoom calls before?
Yes. The pros and cons of COVID.
I know. Yeah.
But going back to what you said about creating that closure, I don't know if anybody's really thought about that, because it's been so open-ended, and for many people, multiple times over. But to be able to kind of reflect and say, okay, this is how I'm going to honor your memory.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can have your own memorial.
Yes. Yep.
You can. You really can.
And going back and watching, if you're ready for that, videos or conversations or whatever, what have you. I know recently my brother found some old VHS tapes.
Oh, wow.
Of when we were kids, and in one of the videos was my grandmother talking.
Oh, really?
Passed away in 2003.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So seeing her, hearing her voice, of course, I had an emotional response, but it also helped me with some things I had been dealing with. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I needed to close that door.
See?
So that closure is necessary. And I don't know if anybody who's watching right now, who you may or may not be ready for that, but that's a good place to start to create that closure for you. And if you are watching,
there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way. Whatever brings you peace, whatever heals your heart. That little space in the heart is probably going to be empty for forever, but whatever can bring you peace and your own peace, that's you. You identify and define what your peace is and what you need for closure, for healing. Yeah.
No one else but you.
No, you can't allow somebody else to define that. Not in this time. Not right now. No.
Yeah. If I wanted to say, if you're watching us right now and you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and we'll be able to share those questions with Miesha, and she can try to see if she can answer them for you. So please know this is a community conversation. So if you have any questions, please don't be shy. Ask them.
Yes. Ask anything.
So I wanted to get to the past couple of the past 10 days.
Yeah.
And it's been really, 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 really tough. Just first of all, I want to come from a different angle and talk about, since you specialize in whole family healing and counseling, I want to talk about our young people because many of our young folks have seen the video of the murder of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to process what they see.
Yeah.
And I was speaking with my daughter's dance teacher who said that some of her students had seen it. They were practicing, the girls were off with dancing, and she said, "What's going on? What's happening?" And they talked about how they had seen this video, and they never told their parents that they had seen it, and they just didn't know what to do with all of those emotions. And so she created an opportunity for them to express it through dance.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yes. So it gets it physically, get it out. Yeah. But my question is, I'm a parent of 3 kids, and I know many parents are having this conversation with their children, but how do we offset that trauma that they have experienced now by seeing this? What is some advice you can share with us on how we can help our children deal with that type of trauma?
This is a good time, actually a perfect time to be transparent.
Yeah.
And for them to, be afforded the platform to really speak on what it is that they feel and how this affects them. And for the parent to also give feedback and let them know how this is affecting them as well. Because, you have different cultures, but as Black people, as African Americans, and for you're raising 2 Black boys that when they go out into this world, you have to keep all of that in mind. Even for your daughter, you have to keep all of that in mind. We got Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. I mean, you have all of these, you have male and females who are now going through this. But I think the main thing right now is to be transparent, to really talk about, how you're feeling, be honest. This is not a time to sweep stuff under the rug. Culturally, that's what we do. That's what we have learned to do, and just to put on and be okay and not show our feelings and, not cry in front of the kids. But today, this is not a time to do that. We have to do something different.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah. Yeah. And to understand that, to be honest, to say, I don't have all the answers.
Exactly.
I don't have all the answers, but what we can do is talk about it.
That's right. Allow them to bring the feelings up, and you'd be surprised. The kids are so impacted by what's going on. They are like sponges. They are soaking up everything. So they need an outlet. You think about all of the things that we held in over the years, and all of the things and the pain and the trauma that we grew up holding on to and we're not taught how to express it. We don't want that for our kids today. We don't want that.
No, we don't. That is very interesting because, and I'm going to read this. There's an Instagram account called the Nap Ministry. I don't know if you've heard about it, but on a post from this morning, she wrote, "People living under oppressive systems can sometimes be so focused on the pain and they're surviving that they don't allow themselves to feel joy."
Yeah.
And when you talked about how family internalizes trauma and pain, I come from a family of women who did that and internalized it to the point where they suffer from major health issues. Excuse me. Major health issues. Had an aunt who had breast cancer and never told anybody and died from it. They swallow the pain and don't never sought therapy because they all said, "I never had time for that. I had to get things done. I had to pay the bills," and so on and so forth. I don't want to raise my children in that with that type of thought. Yes, do the work, but also you need to hold space for yourself and your spirit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. How do we do that? How do we hold a space for ourselves in such a toxic environment? And how do we teach our kids to do the same thing?
We have to make time. I mean, I really feel that we make time for what we want to make time for, but to even be even more practical, we have to be intentional on, you know, this is what I want to do something different. You know, I want to feel different, and what I'm doing right now isn't working.
Yeah.
So we just have to try to do something different. It's not going to be easy. It's not anything that you can do and you think in 24 hours you're going to be, you're going to be sparkling and feeling so amazing. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. It takes repetition. You have to just continue, just keep doing it over and over. But be honest, because there's some days you probably don't have time. There's some days you don't feel like it. There's some days you don't feel like being happy. Okay, and it's okay, but be honest with it. Like, today I'm not feeling it. Okay, hit me back up in like 10, give me 12 hours, 24 hours. Like, maybe tomorrow will be a better day. You know what I mean? But today I'm just not feeling it. I'm having a difficult time.
Yeah, honoring your feelings, whatever they are.
Stand in your truth. Like, stand in your truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. We're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but I know who I am. I know who I am not. And I'm okay with it. I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. I can't do anything but try again tomorrow. I can't. That's all I can do.
Yeah. Like my mom sometimes says, my mother says, sometimes you just got to go to bed. Just go to sleep.
Yep.
And in the morning, start over.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because
joy does come in the morning. It can come in the morning.
Yes.
This too shall pass.
Yes. And sometimes you just need to just go to sleep.
Yeah.
When you were talking about it's a choice and making the choice to do it.
Yeah.
Making the choice to hold that space for yourself actually teaches your children to make space for themselves.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say, because we are models for our kids. Like, they really literally do what we do. If you think back to some things that you learned verbally and non-verbally now, this is not just the verbal, but it's also the behavior. They pick up the behaviors, and they do model what we do. So if nothing else can inspire you, then be intentional in that aspect. You want to be a chain breaker, a change agent for your family, for generations to come. So let me just do something different. Let me just try and see what happens, because what we've been doing up to now is it's not working.
Yeah. I was also thinking about a conversation that I had with someone who said over the past 10 days, she's felt so much guilt. And guilt because she wasn't out protesting. And this is a person who's a person of color. She wasn't out protesting. She didn't know what to say in response to everything that was going on because it was so oppressively heavy on her.
Yeah.
But she felt like she felt like posting anything that was not related to what was happening or the demonstrations or the protests. If she posted anything that was not aligned with that she felt guilty for even wanting to. And my response was, but we still need the light.
Yep.
Still need to reflect the light. And so holding on to that kind of guilt on top of everything else is very stressful.
It is. And that, that is when this is something that I think culturally we do, is trying to live up to the ideals of society instead of operating in our truth and what it is that we're feeling at the moment.
Yeah.
And knowing that we don't have to conform to whatever is going on at the time. Like, we don't have to. And if anybody else has a problem with it, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I need to
That's where I
post
am right now.
joy. We need to know
Yeah.
there's some
Yeah.
hope in the world.
Yeah. We need that. We do. We need a balance of it all. Like I think the brains are on overload right now. You know, I have gotten to the point sometimes I will leave my TV off for a week, seriously, at a time. And I'm scrolling through social media, but I pick and choose. But sometimes you really you got to cut it off. And if I do need to post something funny, then that's just what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yep. That's that boundary.
Yeah.
I always say this, get what you need from the news, get the information and shut it off.
Yeah.
Because other than that, you're going to just go crazy. And I know I've done that. I've been guilty of that. Wake up in the middle of the night, start scrolling, and then that's it. Can't sleep.
Yep.
We do have a question, two of them. It says, any suggestions or general words to comfort a friend who's lost a loved one? I can't be physically present, but there's significantly more stress than usual surrounding death. So any suggestions on words of comfort?
Yeah, I don't know who the loved one is that the person lost, but in this time, they can't probably be there for them as they would have had times been different. So my suggestion is to be honest. Like I really wish that I could be there. It's really hurting me to not be there for you. But if there's anything that I can do from a distance to help you, please know that I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel like talking. If you want to talk, I can call you. If you don't feel like talking, just let me know and I can text you. I can send you a video and just let me know what it is that you need. I don't know what you need. I don't know your pain, but I know you're my friend, so I'm hurting because you're hurting. And but I'm here for you.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
Really. I mean, you can send some flowers, if you want to send a care package, you can do that, do things like that. That will probably bring a smile to their face.
That care package, that's a good.
Yeah,
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, the old school stuff, the snail mail.
Yes, I remember having pen pals when I was a kid, and how that's coming back around again.
Exactly.
College, getting those boxes in your dorm.
Yes. Oh, how happy you was in that dorm getting that box with some oodles and noodles in there, please.
You had to run down the hall to make sure nobody took your box.
Exactly. Hello? Yes.
But yeah, that's a good idea. Care packages, and people know that they are on your mind.
Yes. Yep.
And then we have another one that says, I'm a teacher and I'm very concerned about going back to school after all of this, trying to gather some tools to prepare myself. What should I consider?
First of all, God bless you.
Yes.
I mean, really, shout out to the teachers. My mom was an educator for 30 years in Baltimore City Public Schools. So I understand what they are feeling, but going back to school after a pandemic, there is so much angst around all of that because you don't know how this is even going to play out. No one knows.
Right.
My suggestion is to take it one day and one moment at a time. We have today, right? School hasn't started. We don't know if school is going to be back in session. We don't know. So until we have the information to inform us, let's try to stay with today. Let's try to enjoy today. And as the information comes, and maybe we can make, preparations on how we're going to operate. But I would say let's just wait until they begin to have the talks. If they are asking for feedback from teachers, give your honest feedback on how you're feeling about going back to work. Do you need other things in place to make, do you need to feel safe? The classrooms probably need to be much smaller. Like I can't imagine them having 30, 40 kids in a room.
Exactly.
again. So that is a difficult situation to be in, because there's still so much that we do not know. So much we don't know.
So much
but I would just try to say it is. I mean, it really is up in the air. Everything right now, everything is up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And thinking about or forecasting actually brings about more anxiety.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you, the brain is so amazing. You have a thought, you can put yourself in that situation before you even get there, and your body is going to react, and the universe can bring those experiences to you. So let me just stay right here for today, and let me just kind of visualize what I really would like to happen when I go back. And let me just, so that I can maintain my peace of mind, my stability, you know, far beyond even when we do go back to school.
Right. That's speaking life, thinking life, power of the life is in the tongue.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, and that visualization, that's important. That's even powerful. In relationships and how you create chaos and drama
from
things, and you're like, wait, that didn't even happen.
We need a whole another Cherish Live for that one. I already know.
I've caught myself doing that, where I create scenarios. I've actually done a podcast about this, creating scenarios where such and such is going to happen, and this is how I'm going to respond, and then when they say this, I'm going to say that, and none of it happened. But I was so stressed out about it happening possibly that I gave myself migraines and everything. So we have to be very mindful over our minds. What we think and what we say, changing our inner narrative. Those
cognitive distortions.
Okay, that's the right word. Cognitive distortions. And that's when we need the power of prayer and God order my thoughts.
Oh, for sure. And knowing what the promises of God are. The 7 promises of God. Don't forget those.
Right.
My godmother, I have 3 godmothers. My mom asked these 3 beautiful women to look out for me as she was preparing for her transition, which I thought was so profound for her to do that. But one of my godmothers is the beautiful, legendary Ann Nesby. And when she comes in town, you know, we spend time together. We'll, you know, get dinner, and I'm with her and her husband. And she just ministers to my spirit so much. And she tells me, don't forget the word. Stay in the word. Don't forget the 7 promises of God, like, because those are true. Don't forget it.
Yes. That's what keeps us grounded. In the truth of the word.
It's so true.
So that teacher who posted that comment, who said that she's anxious about going back. Remain in the present and remember the promises of God. Keep your prayer life up too.
It's trying to speak positive. You know, we have negative self-talk. It just happens. Sometimes we have thoughts on the subconscious level, and sometimes they can be revealed, like the negative self-talk. So we have to challenge and just kind of restructure our thinking and have something positive, like a positive affirmation to combat that, to replace it. And with practice, you know, you have to kind of shut your brain off and be like, you know what, that's not true. That has not even come to pass. So what is it that I really want to happen?
Yes. I've done that too, where I'm like, wait a minute.
I know.
Stop. This is not, I'm not going down this road with you.
I call it, I got to check myself.
Your by yourself moment, as my husband calls it. By yourself moment. So I wanted to ask you, how important, because this is something that our community, our culture sometimes runs from, but how important is it for us to seek counseling and understand that you can be a believer, you can have a relationship with God, you can have all of that and have therapy. God chose the therapists. God chose people to be therapists for a reason. So, you know, how important is that for our community?
I believe it's very important, but I also believe that more importantly is for you to find the right therapist for what it is that you need. You may not gel with everyone. You know, what do you need? Like, do you need someone who is all clinical, who's working by the book, or do you need someone who has a mixture of both, who can, you know, relate to what it is you're going through and can also give you the clinical aspect? When I tell my clients this, like, when you can't make sense out of something and something just does not make sense and we can't speak relatively about it, then that's when I'll insert the clinical, the evidence-based, the science to kind of explain some things so that I can normalize, you know, what it is that they're going through. And then I can, you know, switch it back and, you know, off and on, and we can go and do CBT and different things like that. But it's very important because you need someone on the outside to kind of help you put things into perspective and to help you learn how to communicate and just teach you how to be okay with not being okay.
Yeah. So we have a question that kind of aligns with this. What suggestions do you have on how to talk about mental health in the faith community, especially when many people think prayer alone is enough? So that kind of piggybacks off what you just said.
That is probably one of the biggest challenges in our community. I was raised in a church now. Let's be clear. I was raised in the church, stayed in church. My mom, everybody, I was raised in church. I sang all my life. I did all of that. But when I look back now on things that, you know, my mom went through, I know now as a clinician, my mom was experiencing depression before she was even diagnosed with anything. Wow. And all of the time that we spent in church, it didn't, I mean, not saying that it didn't help her. That spiritual foundation and background, it does help, and you need that. But sometimes you need to go a little bit deeper, and you need someone who is trained to guide you through that process. I call it, you know, you have an acute trauma, or, you know, an acute reaction to stressors, and you have acute mental health issues. And then sometimes you have things that are literally like clinical. You have some diagnoses like depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. There's a pathology to those mental health issues. And sometimes you need medical attention. You need a professional to help you through that. There is nothing wrong with that.
Right. And there are some therapists who are Christian therapists, right? Those who
it depends on how they market themselves. They want, you know, Christian based, where they maybe only focus on that. I don't know. I call myself a Christian, but you know, I'm respectful of everybody's, you know, religious preferences and backgrounds and just where they are in life.
So if I'm someone who is looking for a therapist, I think that's the other thing. Where do you find therapists? Like, where do you go to find them? I've gotten mine through word of mouth or asking someone I know who's a therapist to say, hey, can you suggest some folks?
Yeah.
But how would, you know, someone go about finding?
So there are a couple different ways. You can, for those who do have health insurance, you can actually look on the back of your card. There's a phone number you can call, customer service, and you can let them know, I live in this area, or I'm looking for, you know, behavioral health. That's the term that they use. I'm looking for behavioral health in this area. I need a therapist who specializes in this. And they have people who will actually look and give you suggestions. You can also go on to Psychology Today and look for a therapist. You can put in, you know, what your insurance is. You can put in like different things. If you're looking for someone to help you with stress or anxiety, you can find someone like that. Of course, word of mouth. I would encourage today, honestly, I believe more churches should offer therapy to their congregation. Like, there's no reason why there should not be therapy in one of those offices on the campus.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then we have part of our population too that they may not have insurance.
Yeah.
Are there any options for them?
There are some options. Some therapists take pro bono counseling. You can also look up pro bono counseling in the city or in the state. You can actually search for that. They do have pro bono counseling options.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know too.
Yeah. And if you, and my other suggestion is, if you have a family member or a loved one who is challenged with mental health issues, stress, anxiety, depression, and you have insurance, set up a family session. You know, if you know your loved one needs help, set up a family session. You take your insurance and you use your insurance to help your loved one. You can set up a family session and do that.
Wow. I don't think people know that they could do that.
I don't think they know either, but do it. You got to do it. That's how we helping and healing each other. We have to help our families. We have to.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back in April, I think I reached out to you and I said, hey, I want to kind of spotlight you on my peace break.
Yes.
And I wanted to see if you had any tips for people just to get through their days of isolation. And this is when we were on total shutdown, when nobody was going out except the essential workers. And you sent me a list of just tips. Can we go over that list again and share it with everybody who's watching right now?
Sure. One of the things that I mentioned, which we've been talking about, is limit yourself to a certain amount of time watching the news, taking in the news and the media. That can be re-traumatizing, you know, seeing everything that's going on. The next thing that I definitely mentioned, and that's something that I try to do every single day, within the first 20 minutes that you awaken, put on something positive. Don't turn on the news. Try not to scroll social media. I will, if I'm tired, I will grab my phone. I will put on YouTube and I'm listening to affirmations. I'm listening to Dr. Miles Monroe. I'm listening to, you know, I'm listening to TD Jakes. I'm doing praise and worship. Like, I'm feeding my brain before I even lay foot on the floor.
Mm-hmm. That's
you know, within those first 20 minutes, your brain is you're at the highest vibration. Like, you really need to feed your soul and your spirit really good during that first 20 minutes. It's very important. I know I said do some journaling if you want to, you know, take this time. If you always wanted to write or journal, if you wanted to start a book, a blog, podcast, this is the perfect time to do that. Writing is powerful. You know, it helps you to it's like the step before being able to verbalize what you feel, because you have to learn how to feel it and be okay with how it feels and get to the next step, the other side, you know, of feeling whatever you're feeling. So the other thing I think I talked about was taking some time to do some stretching. If you don't feel like getting up, working out, or, you know, doing body shred, do some stretching. Like, get up and stretch. You know, some days you don't feel like doing body shred. Sometimes I don't feel like sweating all day. So let me just stretch and just do some breathing. Practice the box breathing. That's powerful. Like, that's really good to, you know, help you set your day straight. And I know I mentioned something about that one drawer, that closet, that thing we need to clean out. Like, take some time and clean the stuff out. Do what you have to do. Purge. You know, let's use time to purge. Yeah.
And you know what? Organizing actually helps you to feel better because you're removing the clutter.
That's right.
I waited all this time. I kept looking at my closet like, I'll get to it tomorrow. And then when I finally did get to it, which was last weekend, I felt so much better because I had cleared out just the clutter.
Yeah.
So
you made it. You did it.
Yeah, but the other thing is there's no timeline on that, on organizing, and it's when it hits you that you want to do it.
Yeah, I think you have to be in the spirit to want to do that, because you got to dig deep for that. That's like going to therapy. Like, well, some things, you got to be ready to dig deep some sessions.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't ready for that.
If today is not the day, it ain't gonna happen.
And it's all good. I tell my clients that I don't know if you're ready for it today, so we're gonna wait till next session, okay?
I want you to tell everybody how they can contact you. What's the best way to get in touch with you if they want to come on board as a client, or how do they contact you on social media and other ways?
Yeah, we are Whole Family Healing Group. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and also on the web, www.wholefamilyhealinggroup.com. You can also call the office at 410-413-6043. Again, that's 410-413-6043. I also have a number that you can text. If you don't feel like talking, we can text. It's okay.
Wow.
That number is 443-353-9348.
Okay, and if you're watching, don't worry. I'm going to post all these things up.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'll give you the email addresses as well if you want to post those. I'll give you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So don't worry. You won't miss the information. I'll post it all up. The phone number, the texting number, the social media, and then what was the email?
The email is info at wholefamilyhealinggroup.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. And we take a myriad of insurances, so insurance plans, and so we're looking forward to serving everyone and helping them heal.
Yes, healing. Yeah. I want to thank you, Miesha, for coming on board today and sharing your insight on how we can maintain our peace of mind, providing the tips that you have shared with us, and just our conversation. I know this is kind of like a tip of the iceberg conversation, because there's so much more. I mean, the deep dive on this is vast. But we only had an hour, and I wanted to be able to provide. It did. I wanted to be able to provide just a little bit of insight for us to maintain the peace of God in our just how we think and how we speak and everything that's going on and how we interact with our children. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming.
I appreciate you more. I'm very humbled. I'm grateful, and I'm thankful. Very, very thankful.
God is good. He's doing some amazing things.
He is.
So before we close out today, I know one thing I want to do is end our time with our peace break.
Yes.
So if you are watching with us, all you have to do is sit down, have a seat wherever you need to sit. If you're on your bed, or if you're on a couch or your chair, wherever you are, just sit back, and we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to take this peace break together. All right? We're going to inhale peace and exhale fear. Inhale peace. Exhale anxiety. Inhale peace. Exhale our stress. Inhale peace. Exhale everything else. God, we are so thankful for today. We're thankful for this session with Miesha. Lord, we just pray that what was shared here has been helpful to those who are watching and has been just at the beginning of a healing process for them. God, we just thank you for your peace and your presence that is with us in our homes and in our spirits right now. God, we are thankful and grateful for everything you are doing for us.
Thank you, God.
In Jesus' name do we pray. Amen.
Amen. Love it.
So before we close out, one last thing I just wanted to share. We'll be back next Saturday at 3 o'clock on Facebook Live. I'll be talking about peace in the garden with Crystal Foreman. And Crystal Foreman is the founder of Holistic Wholeness and Health. And
Awesome.
She is a local gardener here in Baltimore. And she's going to talk about just how she finds peace in the garden, but also she's going to walk us through a live demonstration of planting a couple of plants that are known to help cleanse the air in your home. So she does cooking exercises all around the city and these planting exercises as well. So I'm excited about that. On the 20th of June, we're going to be talking about peace in relationships. And I'm going to have my husband on and a friend, some friends of ours, Reverend Aloysius and Sharon Haley, will be joining us. I've known them since college. And so that's going to be a really interesting conversation about peace in relationships. And then on Friday, July 3rd, I'm going to have my besties on. So we're going to be talking about peace and sisterhood and how we hold space for one another in friendship. And then my final Cherishedflight Live will be Peace in the Unexpected on Saturday, July 11th. And I'm going to have Nicole and Ziba, who is the founder of the Caftan Cuties movement. And I'm a member of this group, Caftan Cuties. And today is actually Caftan Cutie Saturday. We put on our caftans, we post the pictures in our group, and everybody says, oh, that looks so beautiful. You look so, it's just such an affirming space. I know Nicole is hosting a watch party right now. I can't wait.
Oh, that's so good.
But yeah, doing things that bring you joy, and that certainly brings me joy. So I hope everybody will be come back next week and join me at 3 o'clock for Cherishedflight Live. And I will be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for our Peace Break on Instagram and Facebook. So Miesha, thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you 10,000 times for today. And I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
Yeah, I appreciate you much more. God bless you, Candace. I pray for God to elevate you beyond your wildest dreams.
Oh, I received that. And for you as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have an amazing day.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay.